Are we ready, Attorney Rivera? Sige. Session resumed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Attorney Rivera, please make your presentation. As much as possible, based on personal knowledge. And as much as possible, state which is of your personal knowledge and then which are the words of your client, Mr. Delphin Lee.
Yes, sir. Ito pong babasahin ko po, kagalang-galang na mga senadors, sariling salita po ni Mr. Lee. Kung pwede na po akong mag-umpisa, sir. May I proceed?
Go ahead.
Opening statement of Delphin Lee, sir. At the outset, I wish to thank Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Aquilino Pimentel III, the Honorable Senators Alan Peter Cayetano and Senator Antonio Trillanes IV, in calling this hearing in aid of legislation, in order to gather relevant and pertinent informations that may guide this august chamber in passing a law that will curb the dismal trend of untold corruption being perpetrated by the subject powerful political figure who, together with some of his family members and friends, are now being suspected of plundering the nation of billions of pesos. I would have been present today delivering this opening statement if the Honorable Judge Amifate Fidel Reyes of the Regional Trial Court of San Fernando, Pampanga, did not reverse the earlier order of this court. I would skip the other portions, Your Honor, because I already explained it earlier. What Vice President Jejomar Binay did to my life, to my family, to my businesses, which I struggled over the years to improve and succeed, to the lives of my now thousands of unemployed workers and to their families, and to the lives of buyers of my condominium and subdivision projects, whose titles to the properties they bought are being unlawfully withheld by the Pag-ibig Fund, are but a glimpse of what this powerful person can do and what our countrymen can expect, see, and experience. I fully welcome this development, which I take as an opportunity not so much to defend myself or to tarnish the reputation of BP Binay, but to reveal the real reasons behind my persecution and incarceration, such as I did not give in to the demands for extortion of 200 million pesos by Jerry Limlingan, allegedly upon the direct instruction of Vice President Binay, and to implicate former Vice President Noli De Castro in this non-existent Pag-ibig Fund scam, also allegedly upon the direct instruction of BP Binay on in exchange for my freedom from persecution and eventual incarceration. This testimony are all detailed in my affidavit, which I am submitting to the Honorable Subcommittee. If I may be allowed, Your Honor, there is a sinumpang salaysay executed and signed by Mr. Delphin Lee, which has been notarized and sworn to before a notary public in San Fernando, Pampanga, Your Honor. If I may, in the vernacular, Your Honor. Ako, si Delphin Lee, nasa hustong gulang, Pilipino at kasalukuyang nakapiit sa Pampanga Provincial Jail, lungsod ng San Fernando, pagkatapos manumpa na naaayon sa batas ay nagsasaad, ako ay biktima ng panggigipit ng pag-ibig sa pamumuno ni Vice Presidente Jejomar Binay. 2 beses kami nagkita ni Mr. Jerry Limlingan, na kilalang malapit kay Vice Presidente Jejomar Binay, sa isang gusali sa Makati, kung saan ako hiningan ni Mr. Jerry Limlingan na halagang 200 milyong piso upang hindi tuloy ang pagsampa ng kaso laban sa akin. Hinimok din ako ni Mr. Jerry Limlingan na gumawa ng hindi totoong kwento upang makasuhan ng dating Vice Presidente Noli De Castro. Ngunit hindi ako pumayag sa alok ni Mr. Jerry Limlingan. Sa aking pagtanggi sa alok ni Mr. Jerry Limlingan, pinalabas ng Pag-ibig ng Globe Asiatic Realty Holdings Corporation na may utang ng halagang 6 na bilyong piso ang aking kumpanya, kahit na ito'y walang basyan at isang klaring kasinungalingan lamang. Subalit ako ay kinasuhan ng Pag-ibig ng syndicated estafa. Isang patunay na walang pagkakautang ang Globe Asiatic Realty Holdings Corporation sa Pag-ibig. Nagkaroon ako ng desisyon pabor sa Globe Asiatic Realty Holdings Corporation ng Regional Trial Court, Branch 58 ng Makati City, sa Civil Case 10-11-20, na ito ay maglabas ng desisyon na pabor sa Globe Asiatic Realty Holdings Corporation. Ito ay sinangayunan din ng Court of Appeals sa CAGR SP number 128262. Dagdag panggigipit sa akin ay ako'y inaresto at pinakulong kahit nagdesisyon ng Court of Appeals sa CAGR SP number 127553 na iwinaksi at pinatigil ang pagpapalabas ng warrant of arrest laban sa akin. Walang katotohanan ang mga ibinibintang ng Pag-ibig na ako ay may utang na 6.5 billion. Hindi ako kailanman nanloko, malinis ang aking hangarin na makapagbenta ng bahay at lupa sa halagang abot kaya ng ordinaryong mamamayan. Sa pamamagitan ng salaysay na ito, ako po ay dumudulog sa Senado na imbestigahan ang mga kinauukulang ahensya ng gobyerno at ang hukuman sa mga katiwalaang na ginagawa laban sa akin, at ako ay humihingi ng karampatang hustisya. Signed, Delphine Lee.
Pwede bang bigyan ng committee nung dalawang statements na binasa nyo? Yung affidavit mismo at saka yung opening statement.
Opo. Actually po, nagbigay na po ako.
Nandito na.
At may karagdagan pa po yung opening statement. Ito po'y paglalahad po ng mga desisyon po na ipinalalo na po ni Delphine Lee, na siyam na desisyon po na nanalo po kami sa Court of Appeals. At karagdagan po nito, mga statement po patungkol po dun po sa insurance na kinokolekta po ngayon at hindi po nababayad po dun po sa dapat na insurance company na bilyong piso din po ang alaga.
Pero sino na itong magsasalitang? Ikaw na, as Attorney Rivera.
Opo.
Ikaw na to, ha?
Opo.
Sige, go ahead.
Ito pong ibang mga, kung mamarapatin po, babasahin ko rin po yung, ito pong susunod po, si Delphine Lee pa rin po.
Anong papel yung babasahin mo?
Karugdong din po nung opening statement.
Okay, hindi yan affidavit, ha?
Hindi po.
Hindi.
Opening
So parang
statement.
karagdagan sa kanyang addendum to the opening statement.
Opo, at
Of
pero
Mr.
pirmado
Delphine
po
Lee.
to ng ginoong Delphine Lee.
Opo, sige po, go ahead.
I can no longer bear to see that even the fully paid buyers of my projects are being made to suffer through the withholding of their titles by the Pag-ibig Fund, unless they came out and filed cases against me and Globe Asiatic. And worse, I cannot bear to see my thousands of legitimate buyers who are refused recognition by the Pag-ibig, thus putting their status in limbo. Just recently, I was vindicated by an HLURB decision ordering the Pag-ibig Fund to release the titles of Globe Asiatic fully paid buyers, and further ordering the Pag-ibig Fund to accept and honor the replacement buyers. I am emboldened to come forward to reveal the truth because it was only recently that good men like yourselves in government took the cudgels for the Filipino nation to reveal the corrupt practices of this very powerful political figure. And before I completely rely on our judicial system to vindicate myself and to set out the truth, however, despite this fact, I won all the cases before the regional trial courts and various divisions before the Court of Appeals. Here I am, still languishing in jail for a crime I did not commit and for the breach of contracts which Pag-ibig Fund has been repeatedly adjudged to be guilty of by the courts. For the information of everybody, especially the press, all the 9 cases now pending before the Supreme Court are appeals filed by the Pag-ibig Fund, which only means one thing. I won all the cases and the Pag-ibig Fund lost. That is why it is the HDMF that is appealing to the Supreme Court, not me. It is really fatefully distressing to realize that a legitimate businessman like me will languish indefinitely in prison for a crime I did not commit. If this happened to me, it can happen to any legitimate businessman or ordinary person. We are all subjects to the whims and caprices of a powerful figure, especially when he becomes, fate forbids, the next president of this country. Through my revelations today, I am appealing to everyone's common sense in answering for themselves the following questions so that they can relate to my statements regarding the real reasons behind my persecution and continued incarceration. 1. Why a legitimate businessman like me who has donated churches, public school buildings, and municipal halls, to name a few, with an aggregate value of more than 500 million pesos, would defraud only 28 complainants of the Pag-ibig Fund who actually filed cases against me when the total value of their claim is less than 18 million pesos only. If I really owe or defrauded Pag-ibig for 6.6 billion, why is it that up to now, or after 5 years, no civil case for collection of that alleged amount is filed against me by the Pag-ibig Fund? A. Why is it up to now, after 5 years, has not sent me or a company any demand letter demanding the alleged amount of 6.6 billion pesos? Why is it that when I filed the civil case for specific performance against the Pag-ibig Fund, the amount of its counterclaim was only 12 million pesos of alleged attorney's fees? Why it is that the Office of the Solicitor General admitted that there is no such claim in the criminal case of 6.6 billion pesos? And why is it that during the Senate hearing about this alleged scam, with due respect to Attorney Darlene Berberabe, Your Honors, Attorney Darlene Berberabe herself, the President of Pag-ibig, admitted that it is not I nor Globoshatic, but the borrowers, buyers of Cepero projects who are indebted to the Pag-ibig Fund because the 6.6 billion is an end user's loan and not a developer's loan. Excuse me. Why should I be faulted for the alleged existence of ghost borrowers in the Cepero projects when I was not the one who approved their Pag-ibig loan application, but the Pag-ibig Fund itself? Why did the Pag-ibig Fund approve the loans application knowing to be coming from said buyers? Why should I be faulted for the Pag-ibig Fund membership of these alleged buyers when every one of them is certified to be by the Pag-ibig Funds as members in good standing in a document known as Membership Status Verification Slip, or MSVS? Why should I introduce fake or ghost buyers in the Cepero projects when Pag-ibig Fund admits in the board meetings of its board of directors that these projects are highly saleable because these are town projects with churches, schools, municipal halls, eco, and theme parks, swimming pools, and amenities unheard of from any other existing subdivision projects? And finally, the records would bear that all the titles to the property which Pag-ibig Funds claims to have been sold twice are still in the name of Globoshatic, and only the contract signed by the buyers of these properties are contract to sell or mere promise to sell. So how can there be a case of double sale if the contract to sell of the first buyer who defaulted in the payment has already been canceled and the same property sold to the replacement buyers as required and mandated by a contract of addition prepared by Pag-ibig itself? If the claim of Pag-ibig is true, that there are cases of double sale in my projects, why is it that there is no single occupant buyer of the units of my projects who came out to say that somebody else knocked on his door and claimed that he is the first buyer and the real owner of the same property? To implicate former Vice President Noli De Castro, VP Binay through Pag-ibig Fund falsely claimed that I was given a special treatment Again, I appeal to everyone's common sense. It is a special treatment for a developer like me who is imposed of a 5-year buyback guarantee to pay the loans of the delinquent buyer-borrowers of a Pag-ibig fund when all the rest of the 204 real estate developers accredited by the same program of the Pag-ibig fund are only required to have a 2-year buyback guarantee. It is a special treatment for a developer like me who is imposed of a 95% performance ratio when all the rest of the real estate developers under the same contract were only required of 90% performance ratio. It is a special treatment for a developer like me to be limited to a loan counseling. Currently, I am detained at the San Fernando Provincial Jail for syndicated estafa because allegedly the Pag-ibig Fund has a wealth of evidence and that I have been paying for the unpaid obligation of delinquent buyers of the Severa projects. This, according to the Pag-ibig Fund, is my modus operandi in swindling the government of billions of pesos by showing that the accounts are updated when in fact they are not. However, the courts, both the trial courts and various divisions of the Court of Appeals, are all in unison in saying that there is no syndicated estafa, simply because when our company, Globe Asiatic, paid for the unpaid obligations of the delinquent buyers, we were only following the dictates of the contracts which were all prepared by the Pag-ibig Fund itself as a form of security to protect the fund against delinquent accounts. In short, it is all too easy to understand that I never defrauded Pag-ibig of 6.6 billion, as no such damage exists because there are fully collateralized by the aggregate value of 9 billion worth of properties based on Pag-ibig's own appraisal. Of the Pag-ibig member borrowers who bought houses and lots in our Severa projects, the 6.6 billion, according to the Pag-ibig Fund itself and its board of meeting, is an end user's loan and not a developer's loan. It is too easy to understand that I never had to introduce any fake or ghost buyers because Severa projects are saleable on its own merits, possessing as they do amenities which are unheard of from any other existing subdivision projects. It is all too easy to understand that if ever there are fake or ghost buyers, it is entirely the fault of Pag-ibig, who certify to the MSVS that they are bona fide members in good standing of Pag-ibig prior to their approval to their loan application by the Pag-ibig Fund itself. It is all too easy to understand that there is no case of double sale in our Severa projects, and that if Pag-ibig Fund will cancel all the contracts of the other 204 real estate developers, which is accredited under the Window 1 facility, the same controversy of double sale, fictitious buyers, and damage to HDMF will come up, and this legitimate businessman will also be destroyed and will be subjected to the same inconvenience, oppression, and I and Globe Asiatic are suffering now. But why am I languishing in prison if none of the accusation against me is true? This is because I did not give in to the extortion of 200 million pesos. And two, because I cannot take in conscience to implicate former Vice President Noli De Castro in this non-existent anomaly or scam. Finally, the biggest and probably the mother of all anomalies being perpetrated by BP Binay is by overcharging by at least 5,000 more or less each, which would account for at least 5 billion a year, more or less, all Pag-ibig members who are availing Pag-ibig Fund housing programs. As can be easily seen in the attached summary, each Pag-ibig member borrower who avails of HDMF loan is being charged of at least 8,000 pesos as insurance premium for MRI and fire insurance in advance for 1 year, which advance the Pag-ibig member will only recover after 30 years in the term of the loan of 30 years. In the meantime, the insurance company of the Pag-ibig Fund is holding the advance insurance premium of each Pag-ibig member. In the data attached, this will account for a minimum of 8 billion in the hands of the insurance company or the Pag-ibig Fund. What is alarming is when you take out a similar MRI and fire insurance from Sun Life of Canada or other big insurance companies, the premium payment is only 3,000 pesos. This means that Pag-ibig Fund under BP Binay's leadership is overcharging our hapless Pag-ibig members of more or less 5,000 pesos each, which account for at least 5 billion a year, more or less, in the attached summary. These billions of pesos which has been collected by Pag-ibig Fund in favor of insurance company that may be chosen by BP Binay, since he became the housing czar, has not been officially audited and is of unknown account, a serious matter that this august chamber should likewise investigate. Thank you very much, and more power. Signed, Delphine Lee. Thank you, Your Honors.
You mentioned MRI.
Opo.
Can you explain that to me?
That
That means and what that is and how that works?
Opo, that is a mortgage redemption insurance, Your Honor. Pag po may...
Ano pong silbi nito? Ano pong function nito?
Pag po bumili ka po ng bahay sa isang subdivision, o kahit po private loan, nire-require din po ng bangko yan. Pag namatay ka po, babayaran na po ng insurance company yung pong pagkakautang mo. Yun po ang pinakamalaking silbi po nito. O kung nasunugan din po ang bahay, babayaran po ng insurance company yung pong cost po ng damage ng pong bahay.
Kasama na yun. So,
Opo,
two concepts, fire insurance siya,
at saka po...
MRI.
Opo.
And then, yung MRI is a product also available in other insurance companies. Yan ang sinasabi ni Mr. ng kliyente mo.
Opo. Isa po yan yung pong nabanggit ko po kanina. Yung pong Sun Life ng Canada. At mas mura po dahil...
3,000, sabi nyo?
Opo, instead po na 8,000 po ang binabayad po ng mga Pag-ibig members.
Alam nyo ba kung saan naman... Ang Pag-ibig ba itself acts as the as the insurer or insurance company, or riniremit nila yon sa isang insurance company?
Nire-remit po, sila po yung nangongolekta at nire-remit.
So sa pagkakaalam ninyo, nakapili na sila ng insurance company? Isa lang ba yan o marami?
Dati po, meron pong isang pool.
Oh.
Ayun po, ang pagkakaalam po ng amin pong kliyente, hindi po nire-remit po dun sa company pong yun.
Anyway, dito naman si Attorney Berberabe to react to all of those allegations. Senator Trillanes?
Okay, Attorney Willie, tatanungin kita tungkol dun sa extortion na 200 million pesos. Kailan nangyari ito?
Pagkatapos po maupo po ni Vice President Binay, yun po ang pagkakasabi po ni Mr. Delphine Lee. Bago po siya kinasuhan, nakipagkita po si Ginoong Jerry Limlingan sa isa pong opisina sa Makati, at doon po siya hiningan po ng 200 million at idinigdag pa ho na ipilit po na kasuhan din po si Vice President Noli De Castro dahil ang pagkakasabi po yata, kung may napakulong na presidente ang presidente, kailangan may mapakulong naman na vice-presidente ang vice-presidente.
So parang pang-propaganda itong si Vice President Noli De Castro kung mapapakulong niya. Ganun ba yun?
Ganun po ang pagkaintindi po niya. At ako po may personal pong kaalaman. May nakausap po kung malapit po sa kampo po ng ating pong vice-presidente, nakapangpangan, kaibigan po ng aking pong kaibigan, sa isa pong lunch meeting po sa Clark. Ang sabi po niya, sabi ko, alam mo namang walang syndicated estafa. Ang sagot po niya sa akin, alam ko naman wala. Pero libreng propaganda yan bakit naman hindi namin papatulan?
Okay, sino ba yung sinasabi nyo na nakausap niya mismo?
Nakiusap po siyang wag banggitin po yung buong pangalan niya, pero Tommy po ang tawag po ni Congressman Lasatin po sa kanya.
Okay. So, Tomas.
Maaari po. Kasi
Maaari.
hindi ko po siya talagang buong kakilala. Kakilala po siya ni
So,
Congressman Lasatin.
Excuse me, Senator. Pero yung sinabi mo, personal knowledge mo yun. Exchange ninyong dalawa yun, ha?
Opo,
Conversation ninyo, ha?
nasa isang restaurant po kami. Kasi nakikiusap po kung, dahil sabi ko, sana naman pag-aralan mabuti ng pag-ibig yung kaso, dahil alam nyo naman, may guarantee at imposition yung sa contract of adherence, yung pinapalitan yung mga buyers at meron kaming 600 million pesos na hawak ng pag-ibig. Pag may defaulting buyers, ina-offset nyo.
So, may 600 million kayo na bond ba yan? Or
Opo,
receivable?
nasa kontrata po nila na sila pong gumawa. Lahat po ito pinapipirma po sa mga developers na kung yung pong retention fund na 7.5% po ng total cost po nung halaga po nung pong binili mo pong house and lot, binabawasan po ng 7.5%. Retention fund po to. At ito po naipon at kinuwenta po namin, umigit kumulang po sa 600 million. Sa katunayan po, sumulat po...
Hindi, sandali muna, Tony Willie. Para hindi tayo maligaw, pupunta tayo dyan later on. Dito muna tayo sa extortion.
Opo.
Sinabi mo nung una, 200 million hiningi. Sa unang pagkakataon, ilang beses ba siyang nilapitan?
Ang pagkakasabi po ni Gunong Delphine Lee, 2 beses po silang nagkita po sa isa pong opisina po sa Makati.
2 beses.
Opo.
Sino ang kausap?
Si Mr. Ginoong Jerry Limlingan po daw.
Pero maliwanag kay Mr. Delphine Lee na itong si Jerry Limlingan ay kumakatawan kay Vice President Binay.
Opo. Kilala po daw at malapit po daw.
At yan din naman na ang naging testimonya na the previous hearings na si Jerry Limlingan ang talagang representative ni Vice President Binay sa mga ganitong mga pagkakakitaan. So, 2 beses siya nilapitan. 200 million ang hinihingi at gusto niyang ipitin si Vice President Noli de Castro. Ganun ba yon?
Ganun po ang pagkakasabi po niya sa akin at yung nakalagay po sa Tagalog po o Pilipinong sinumpang salaysay.
So, 2 beses. Tapos ikaw, nung nakakulong na o nagtatago na si Mr. Delphine Lee, nakausap mo itong malapit din kay Vice President Binay na Tommy ang pangalan, ayaw mo sabihin yung apelyido. Ako na magsasabi. Malamang si Tomas Lopez ito. Ito yung kagrupo niya na incidentally, member din yata ng Pag-ibig or ng HADSI, ng board. So, ganun din ang hinihingi.
May nakasampang kaso na po noon sa DOJ. Nagsampa na rin po kami ng civil case ng specific performance dahil sa pag-aaral po ng mga abogado po ni Ginoong Delphine Lee, wala pong utang ang Globe Asiatic ng 6.6 billion. Dahil ang pagre-release po ng mga loan 500 million.
Hindi, pupunta tayo dyan.
Opo.
Pupunta tayo dyan. Tatanungin ko mismo si Attorney Berberabe kung magkano utang ng Globe Asiatic. Ngayon, aside dito sa lumapit sa inyo sa Pampanga, meron pa bang ibang pagkakataon na may kumausap sa inyo personally, Attorney Rivera, na sa kampo ni Vice President Binay?
Wala na po kung matandaan. Pero yung pong insidente pong yun, wala pa pong nakasampang kaso po against Delphine Lee. Ang nagsampa po kami ng civil case, although may nakasampa na po complaint po sa ahensya po ng Department of Justice.
So, kumbaga, nagpapaabot na pwedeng maareglo yan.
Ako po yung nagbukas po ng usapin na wala namang kasalanan ng kliyente ko. Baka hindi lang in-explain mabuti sa Vice Presidente, isang magaling na abogado naman yan, graduate ng UP, siguro kung maintindihan niya yung facts at legalidad, baka i-reconsider niya yung desisyon.
Okay, ito na lang. Bakit ba palagay ninyo kayo pinag-initan? Bakit mainit ang dugo ni Vice President Binay dito kay Mr. Delfin Lee?
Sa pakiwari po ng aking pong kliyente, nahingan din po siya ng campaign fund nung takbuhan po ng Vice Presidente. Tumanggi din po siya.
Paano po ang circumstances doon?
Meron po daw lumapit sa kampo po ng ating pong Vice Presidente na kung pwede po makapagbigay po ng campaign fund. Ang sabi po niya, pangit po kasi yung pagkakasabi po ng kliyente ko. Mahina naman sa survey yan, ba't ako magbibigay? Pabiro po daw, pero siguro po minasama po nung nag-fund sourcing po.
So, minasama ni Vice President Binay yon dahil tinanggihan siyang bigyan ng kampanya dahil mahina daw siya.
Hindi ko po alam kung minasama po, wala po akong personal na kaalaman, pero yun po ang pagkakasabi po sa akin.
Basta hindi binigyan.
Opo, hindi po.
Lumapit, hindi binigyan.
Yung pong humihingi po.
Anong humihingi? Kaso nanalo sa kasamaang palad ni Mr. Delfin Lee. Bukod sa nanalo, naging head pa ng naging housing SAR pa.
Para pong ganun po yung kasamang palad po.
Okay, so ganyan na ngayon, in-extort. Ngayon, ang sinasabi nyo, nung hindi siya nagbigay ng extortion, dun ng 200 million, tas hindi niya pumayag na ipitin si Vice President Noli de Castro, doon kayo sinampahan itong kaso na ito?
Opo.
Yun.
Nauna po yung dalawa pong meeting bago po sinampa po yung kaso.
So ngayon,
according to my client po.
So nung hindi siya nagbigay, saka sinampahan ng kaso. Ngayon ang sinasabi niyo, walang basihan yung kaso.
Opo.
Bakit nakakulong ngayon si Mr. Delfin Lee? Dahil ang umahawak na judge ay nagja-judge din sa Makati.
Yun po ang nilagay po namin sa motion for inhibition. Kung pwede po sana, wag na pong hawakan kasi po verify po namin, napagalaman po namin na lahat po ng mga judges po sa Makati ay may service vehicle po at meron pong allowance na nanggagaling po sa Makati.
Sige. Ngayon, itong kwento ninyo nakasalalay ito. Mamaya, pagtatanungin ko na si Attorney Berberabe kung may basihan talaga yung pag-iipit sa inyo. Ngayon, gusto ko lang may address din itong mga issues na laban sa inyong kliyente. Although na-address mo na yung iba rito, pero yung tungkol dun sa ghost borrower, nagbebenta daw, meron daw mga ghost borrowers itong si Mr. Delfin Lee. Ano bang masasabi mo rito?
Wala po. Kasi po, sa kontrata pong ginawa po ng Pag-ibig sa lahat po ng mga real estate developers, pag po nag-default po ang isang Pag-ibig buyer, member po nila, nire-require po ang mga window 1 developer na sila po ang magbayad po ng pagkakautang po ng borrower. At kung hindi man po, ang pangalawa pong requirement, palitan po ng another Pag-ibig member, borrower. So, kakansilin mo po yung una at papalitan mo po ng pangalawa. At nangyayari po to, marami po silang inalaw. Pinigilan lang po ang pagtanggap po ng replacement borrower mula po nung ayaw pong mag-give in po at saka po karagdagan po, ang garansya po nila na member po yan at wala pong double sale, wala pong ghost buyer, meron pong membership status verification slip. At ito po yung nanggagaling lamang po sa Pag-ibig. Wala pong record ang mga developers. Karagdagan po, ang trabaho lang po ng mga developers loan counseling. Hindi po sila pwedeng mag-aproba po ng loan.
Okay. So, in short, yung member sa Pag-ibig naglo-loan.
Opo, end users loan.
So, dapat sila ang mag-check kung ghost yun or legitimate na borrower.
Actually po, kung hindi po nila ikagagalit, para po kami binigyan po nila ng ghost borrowers eh. Kung sinasabi po nilang hindi po nila member, kasi sila po nag-issue po ng MSVS.
Okay, o sige. Pero yung allegation na kayo raw marami kayong nilokong mga libo-libong mga OFW raw na nawala ng pera dahil dito sa inyong mga proyekto.
Hindi po totoo yun. Kasi pag po na-replace na po yung borrower member, magpapakancel na po kami ng contract to sell dahil nakapangalan pa rin po yung titulo sa Globe Asiatic at sila po yung titira na po doon. At ipoprocess po namin, pagka-approve po, yung pong meron din po silang collecting servicing agreement. Ang developer po nangongolekta ng monthly amortization at pino-forward po sa Pag-ibig.
So ilan ba ang may nagreklamo lahat kay Mr. Delphin Lee?
28 lamang po dahil ito po tinakot na pag hindi po sila nagsampa po ng kaso, babawiin po yung house and lot kung saan po sila nakatira kahit lehitimo po silang buyer po nung house and lot po yun.
Sige, ipapatawag natin yung 28 na yan.
Opo.
28 hindi libo-libo na nagreklamo sa inyo.
Hindi po.
So, ilan ang total na pagkakautang dito sa 28?
18 million po,
18 million.
More or less.
So, in short, dun sa bond ninyo kamo na 600 million, pwedeng bayaran na ito.
Opo, actually, sumulat po kami sa Pag-ibig, pinapa-offset na po namin.
So, aside from this, ano pang atraso ninyo?
Wala po. In fact, nag-aapila po kami na ituloy po yung proseso na sila rin po ang may scheme o gawa. Ngunit tumatanggi po sila, ang sinasabi po nila sa mga buyers namin, pag hindi nyo kinasuhan si Ginoong Delphin Lee, magkakaproblema kayo sa amin.
Sige, malalaman natin yan dito sa 28. Ngayon, ang sinasabi mo, tinanggihan nyo yung hinihingan nga rin ng 200 million pesos eh. Tapos, 18 million lang ang utang ninyo. Base doon sa kaso, 18 million lang ang total. So,
Opo.
ito lang. Wala nang iba. Walang bilyon-bilyon na pag-uutang.
Wala po. Tsaka po, fully secured po yon dahil yung po dalawang project po na kung papayagan po, ipipresenta po namin yung kabuuan po, tinayo po yan na hindi po ng utang po ang Globe Asiatic po sa Pag-ibig.
Okay.
Una po yung development, bago po...
Sige. Itatanong ko yan mamaya sa Yan yung salita mo ngayon. Tatanungin natin yan kay Atty. Berberabe mamaya. Tungkol naman dito daw sa mga premyo dito sa Pinoy Big Brother na hindi ibinigay.
Wala pong katotohanan yun. At tinanong ko na rin po kung meron pong ibang nagre-reklamo. Binigyan po ako ng... Siguro po ang nababanggit niyo po yung pong si Melay. Tinignan ko po yung mga dokumento. Ang buo po pala niyang pangalan Melay Cantiveros. Meron na po siyang deed of donation as early po as 2010. Ngunit dahil po mataas po yung penalty, nakiusap po siya na palitan po yung deed of donation at pinalitan po ng Globe Asiatic. Hindi pa po niya kinukuha po yung pong kapalit na deed of donation.
Ba't ninyo lang ibigay? Para hindi kayo namang problema ng mga ganyan. Hindi, ganito na lang. Can you assure na itong mga nagrereklamo na ito ay mapapacilitate nyo before the next hearing?
Opo, yung pong kay Melay on
And
process.
yun sa iba. Yung ibang mga nanalo dyan.
Opo.
Na kunin nyo at next hearing natin, kailangan wala nang ganyan. Mako-confirm ko sa kanila kung totoo nga nakipag-ugnayan kayo, ayusin nyo yan.
Opo. Babanggitin ko po sa mga opisyalis po ng Globe Asiatic.
O sige. Okay, thank you.
For Senator Trillanes, asks questions to Attorney Berberabe. Attorney Rivera, yung personal knowledge mo ay yung conversation ninyo ni Tommy.
Opo.
Ikaw yun, di ba?
Opo.
Pero hindi humingi sa'yo, hindi nag-extort sa'yo si Tommy.
Ay, hindi po.
Hindi, no? Klaro yun, ano?
Opo, klaro po yan.
Klaro yun. Sinabi lang niya, pinapropaganda yan. Yun lang. Yun, in effect. Bakit namin di papatulan? Tama.
Yun po ang pagkakabiro po niya sa
nga, yun yung narinig mo. Okay. Pagtatanungin ngayon kita sa detalye, sa ang Makati Building, ano mga petsa, yung 2 times nag-meet si Jerry Limlingan at saka si Delphine Lee, hindi mo masasagot.
Wala po akong personal na
kailangan natin si Mr. Delphine Lee para sa detalye.
Opo.
Otherwise, wala tayong detalye eh. Isang opisina sa Makati, sabi nyo. Pero syempre, matatandaan niya dapat yan kung saan yan.
Opo.
Ba't niya binanggit sa affidavit niya? Petsa, ba't niya
Kasi
binanggit
po,
sa
alam
affidavit niya?
po niya, magte-testify po siya rito.
Pati Petsa, pati date.
Yung pong buwan, natatandaan po niya. Sabi po niya
Na-mention ba ron sa affidavit?
ano po, 2010 po yan, hindi po.
Okay nga, wala, di ba?
Opo.
So, looks like, anyway, yung order naman ni Judge, hindi naman niya finally pinipigilan, di ba? Sabi niya, in the meantime, wag muna mag-attend sa 13, sa April 13, tama? Diba?
Opo.
Yun din ang pagkaintindi mo. Tama?
Opo, ang kinalulungkot lang po namin, hindi po kami ang nagmosyon eh.
Yes, I know.
Sana po pinaalam po sa Senado para nabigyan po ng pagkakataon po yung pong mga
Yung mga ganyang issue na address na yan to the judge, no? Kasi whether it was proper to notify the Senate, hindi rin naman kami party sa kaso, so why notify us? So anyway, naka-judge na yan. Basta ang reading ko sa order ni judge, hindi pa naman final na bawal talagang ipa-attend si Mr. Delphine Lee dito sa ating hearing. So may posibilidad pa. And we need him to get the details nitong alleged extortion kasi kulang sa detalye eh.
Opo, wala po akong personal na kinalaman po doon.
Okay, yung nagfa-fundraising nung kampanya, may pangalan ka? Wala.
Wala po.
So hindi automatic na si Mr. Limlingan 'yon.
Hindi po.
Hindi, di ba? Pwedeng ibang tao 'yon.
Opo.
Okay, sige po. At least na naklaro po 'yon.